Well, today we turn to the book of Deuteronomy, which is the fifth and final book of what our Jewish brothers and sisters call the Torah, or the Law of Moses. It's the first core of the Hebrew Scriptures. And in Deuteronomy chapter 10, verses 12 and 13, we hear these words. So now, O Israel, what does the Lord God require of you? Only to fear the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways, to love him, to serve the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and to keep the commandments of the Lord your God and his decrees that I am commanding you today for your own well-being. In Deuteronomy chapter 10 and through the chapter 11, we have this description of what the Lord requires of us as we near the end of the Torah. And again, you start to hear as you go book by book through the Bible how certain themes continue to repeat themselves. And in this section, God, through Moses, is telling the people to circumcise their hearts, not to be stubborn any longer. In chapter 10, verses 18 and 19, it describes God who executes justice for the orphan and the widow, who loves the strangers, providing them food and clothing. And the Lord God says, you also shall love the stranger, for you were strangers in Egypt. Again, that theme is going to play out throughout the Scriptures, remembering, in a sense, where you came from, remembering what it's like to be poor and needy and having to rely totally upon God. But I also want to note, why does God give us all these commandments, all these decrees, all these Scriptures, imploring us to love and to serve God? They're given, Moses says, for your own well-being. One of the mistakes we can make in looking at the Bible and what God requires of us is we think God is putting a crimp in our style or restricting our freedom or inhibiting us in some way. All that God teaches us in the Bible is given for our own well-being. If we live our life the way God tells us to live our life, it doesn't mean we will necessarily be spared hardship, suffering, or persecution, but we will avoid a lot of pain and heartache that is caused by not living and walking in God's ways. Remember what the Lord requires of you, and obey and keep God's commands, and love and serve the Lord with all your heart and with all your soul this day and every day.